morning, and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick, and it is time for Dragon Memories with Ben. But first, coffee. Ah,
Hello,
goddamn,
everybody.
that's tasty. How you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing good.
Awesome, awesome. Glad to hear it. We're going over a new race that we have been working up right now, the Karasta. These are going to be the farmers of the world that really had kind of not complete control, but the majority of production for foodstuffs for the early history of the world. And we're excited to start getting some concrete facts about those down. They're going to be located in the northern quadrant on the desert side, aka Camadora, but they were kind of at their heyday uh, before the side actually became the desert, when it was just hot and sunny all the time, but actually had a decent amount of water. Before the strange events took place that diverted that water, and some of y'all might already know about that. Most of y'all probably don't, but then again, there ain't nobody really here yet, so we shall see. But I'm digging it. It's adding a lot of cool stuff into our storyline and also adding some verisimilitude. And we're also going to go ahead and hop on in here. Wait. Rogue, are you here? I have to pay. I have to pay 50 resources every week for my land. Am I seeing that? Am I thinking about that correctly? Anyway, so the other day we had somebody on and we were talking, and they gave them the opportunity to create a new race, and they were like, "Oh, kind of." We called them the Slicks, right? You were here for that, actually.
Yeah, I was here for some of that.
Well, I thought, that gives me an excuse to try out this game that I've been thinking about for a little while, the Alien RPG one, that one, and it's really fun. It's honestly too fun. It's been keeping me a little bit distracted, and I need to play less of it. But as I've been looking at it, it's like we cannot make this a race. Because if there was more than one of these things on this planet, this is an extinction level event. Like,
What remind me what the race was about? They were like, if I remember correctly from them, they're like living oil base, basically.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, I just mean there's going to have to be a separation between that and this, because this is what I was kind of thinking of for them, but realizing if we put, like, even one of these on each side of Galil, they would quickly be the only thing left. Like, they're just super ridiculously OP.
Mm.
If it weren't for the fact that, like, everything in this game respawns immediately, or, close enough there too, it would just be cleared, like wiped. Like, there'd be nothing left. It would just be complete and utter devastation. These aliens are insanely powerful. They just eat everything.
Nanomachine Apocalypse, the gray goo.
Use my skilled workers. approve.
So are you okay with the place of the last Karasta settlements?
Yeah, they can pretty much be wherever, because I figure there'll probably be one or two that are still up in there. And we could use if we want to give them a strong fire god who would be warring with a water god, we could use them as the impetus for that one thing that the burning dude.
Okay.
Um,
Hmm.
I don't love
I
it
don't
though.
know. Maybe in the past they had a hand in that, but like them now, I don't think they do much with their with like divine worship. They're on their way out and they're content to go out. Just on
Well, yeah, no, I mean, like he that guy's gonna be more than 100K old. Like he's
Yeah. Okay.
because there were more, and he's the only one that's left.
Yeah.
But really,
So
the more I think about it, especially, yeah, I'm not a fan actually.
Okay.
Because with these guys being beetle people ish, they're more exoskeleton than skeleton, right?
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I don't think it works out at all. But that's fine. We can still get him in there. I just don't. We have to change the name of the peoples from whence they came and whatnot.
Okay. You can change. Yeah, you can change anything on the write up.
Exactly. That's just. Well, no, I mean on the other write up, the ones that you didn't do. Like that's what I'm saying. We got to change that because that's all, actual IP stuff. We're gonna
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
inspiration and not direct stealing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then again,
So I
I
put
mean,
one.
we'll probably be making mention of him uh, in the storyline, but I don't think we're actually gonna see him.
No, probably just a mention of like the burning god or burning king or something. So as far as the Karasta go, um, I decided to put one on the forest side, Craymile,
Okay.
because we haven't really done anything there.
Yeah, Cremil is definitely the least worked on side of the planet, and um, that's because that's the elves' homeland. But that's fine. Like that doesn't get in the way of.
Yeah. I figure the Karastas really are at this point because our current year for the Karastas, they're pretty much easygoing people who are just retired. They're an entire species of retired people. That even fits the two variants that of them that exist. I decided to the reason why I wanted the Thrill Seekers Karastas to exist is because I wanted it to be okay to run into one as an adventurer. That's it.
Yeah, they're probably
Rather
not
than-
going to be a playable race either. Maybe like a special unlock. Okay, no. How do we want to handle extinct races as far as that? They're gone. There's like no playability to them, right?
Well, since we're going through the dragon's memories, they could be around, but I don't think they can be playable characters or playable races.
Yeah, they'd be something you run
have,
into in the memories, but not.
Yeah, you might have like an interesting fight where like you have an ally that is one of these races, but it's just for that fight because it's the memory of this fight, and you're just playing a part. What do you think of that?
I don't hate it. All right, gotta make the thumbnails for.
So it's going to be desert. The first. It's going to first open with desert side, right?
Yes, desert and then ice.
First open with desert, and then ice is going to open up after that, or are they going to open up simultaneously?
No, it's basically you gotta get through like the first floor or the first 10 bits of you gotta actually play through some of the first one to open the second one, and then the others will be unlocked as more progress is made.
But on launch, the two sides will be there if you play enough.
Yeah, absolutely. Because Lake Room is going to be very easy to access. You just have to basically play.
Okay. That does mean I might have to start working on Cadwaller.
Okay, yeah. We definitely need to get some more things going on Cadwallader. And I'm not opposed either to making that happen a little earlier if we need to, especially since we did push back Kofio's Ascension.
It's not important that is. For this project, I'm probably gonna have to change some things on the storyline that I've been using for them, because like I'm gonna have to change a number of things. I think the theme of each of the dragon gods is fine, but should they be actual, beings that walk around and interact, or should they only really do that in their early years and then retreat and work through proxies? Like, I don't know how the gods work entirely on Galil.
Kind of individually.
Like, do they have an agreement? Okay, I'm going down there. I promise not to fuck anything up. If they go down in person?
I've always kind of envisioned Galil and the gods thereof as working similarly to the gods in like the Kevin Sorbo Hercules series and Xena the Warrior Princess. Like how they have their actual, godly forms, they have their avatars on the planet. And they kind of do whatever the fuck they feel like.
Okay, classic Greek gods.
Yeah, only preferably a little bit less of Zeus fucking everybody disguised as various animals.
Hey. Poseidon was no better.
I didn't say he was. I'm just saying, like, it's power fantasy. It's not fucking pervert fantasy. So that
Yeah.
that's that's really where it's at. But no, I like the idea of them like being, and for them they don't even necessarily need to have the their alternate forms. There kind of could be, I don't know.
Hmm.
However you want to handle that, really.
Okay.
I'm open.
Probably more based off what you were saying. It's probably like an individual basis. Like because like the way it works, if you get enough faith, you'll become a divine figure on Galil.
Yep.
So your idea of what a god is like flavors how you are a god in Galil. So if you're like, let's say, elitist club god, where you don't deal with things on the world yourself, if that's your view of what a god, does based off of your previous experience in worship, then that's how you're going to act in the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant by individualized. Is like, yeah, some gods really do spend all of their time on the planet and really don't meddle in the affairs of other gods. They just do their thing. And I feel like the NDGs would kind of be more in that camp because they don't have much history with any of the other gods or anything like that. So I really feel like they're just kind of doing their thing.
They're very, very new.
And yeah, I mean, them being less than 5,000 years old here is also, or less than, what, 10,000?
I don't recall what the time frame was.
Let me get my timeline real quick. Alright, yeah, the NDG return 500 BCE, and actually, NDG Ascension we had at CE2. So yeah, they've been gods here for 6 years.
Yeah, but they've had worship for longer than that. They just haven't been on Galil before that.
Their final return was 20 BCE. Their first arrival was 4K BCE.
Yeah. So they've had worship pretty much since their first arrival.
We actually have a note here at 800 BCE, NDG's returned and worship starts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so about 800 years.
Okay, so they're very young compared to everybody.
1200 BCE is where the NDGs set up the shrine, where they returned and found the shrine that had been set up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they've had 800 years of faith. But only like 6 years of actual experience as gods?
Yeah, pretty much.
So here's my next question. And I guess it's not really a question, it's more of an idea. Because if you give them the option, players are going to want to kill a god. I think that's not possible on Galil. In order to kill a god on Galil, you would have to remove all worship of them.
Yeah. I mean, even if you can physically destroy the physical being of a god, as long as they still have worship, then they can just come back. They can just create a new physical being because they still exist as a god. The god itself is an idea.
Yeah. So, and that actually solves the problem of gods fighting each other. It's like, what's the point? I kill you, you're just gonna come back, and that helps solve the God versus God death battle uh,
Although it would
question.
actually be really cool if at some point we do have like a God versus God death battle arena just for entertainment because they're gonna survive anyways. I could see something like that happening with certain gods and certain mindsets. Like it's not going to be an all the time thing, and it's not going to be something that any of the mortals would be in charge of necessarily. But that could be
I
a way for them to increase their their worship by
I think
being more amongst the people.
I think that would be more along the lines of like a single pantheon. I'm thinking something along the lines of like a Norse-ish pantheon where like Valhalla is just a glorified like elitist nightclub where the gods beat the shit out of each other in an arena sometimes.
I like it. I think that's really really fun. I'm glad that we just completely stumbled upon this totally random ass shit. Like this was not part of any outline, y'all. If you're watching right now, we are way off the beaten path. But it's fun. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I think that would be a. I think that would be a. I think that should be just one pantheon, though. I think most other gods have more self-respect to themselves to be in death matches.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there will still be some like fighting between them and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like there will be wars between the gods that happen, and that'll be intra pantheon or inter pantheon. Those are things that will absolutely happen, even with them
Mhm.
knowing full well that they're not going to be able to actually kill the other god. But it'll be like a god from one pantheon actually raising an army and attacking like actual fucking wars. Like,
Yeah.
because if you kill their worshiper base, then you can kill them. So I think that kind of absolute all out war of trying to erase another god is something that would happen.
Hmm.
Maybe
I
not
don't think it happened.
often, but it'll happen at least once.
Yeah. I think it's something that would happen. Maybe not necessarily to eliminate the god entirely, but to weaken them.
Yeah, definitely that. And then that some of the gods are going to be, working underhandedly trying to, and I think actually a lot of gods are going to be working to subvert enemy gods' most powerful followers. Maybe not like go to war and kill all of them, but if I can take out even, your top five, that's going to make a dent. If I can take out your top 10%, that's going to be huge. So,
Yeah. The new dragon gods, um, I think they're to the other gods, I think they're kind of a sucker punch that the other gods did not expect.
okay, elaborate.
So, from the source material, from the original story, the dragon, the divine dragon, because it was a divine dragon, that the divine dragon's soul that ended up exploding in their face to give them their dragon element.
Yeah.
Out of all of the dragons and beings in the original source material, he was fifth most powerful on the entire goddamn world.
Okay.
Which means if his soul hadn't exploded, would that make him on par with the guardian dragons?
I'm going to say no, but That is, I might be wrong. I don't know the source material you're pulling that dragon from. But, I mean,
So
our elder dragons, um,
aren't they like absurdly powerful?
yeah. I mean, look what they were able to do to the planet.
Yeah.
And almost in perpetuity. Because it's been 350,000 years and we're still in that same kind of layout. So, I mean, they're basically dragon gods, but they're just, they didn't really have worshippers, so they weren't really called gods. They're just, they were the elder dragons. They were here when nothing else was.
Okay. But because my thought was because the new dragon gods they don't come from Galil. They are sort of foreign gods from another place. That's that lets them kind of break some of the conventions the other gods normally the other gods that became gods had to follow. I'm just trying to come up with a reason for why they're still around. Because other gods are not going to take kindly to newcomers like them who have made a pretty significant mark in the world in such a short time. And my thought was they're stronger than most gods expected them to be, given how young they are. Because of that, dragon nature.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, it's not like they came into this world as newborn babes. Like, they already had their own powers and abilities and have only continued to increase said powers and abilities. And, yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some tension, but also the fact that they're not really trying to expand their sphere of influence. They're not trying to encroach upon the other gods' domains. I feel like they're not out for trouble, and therefore there will still be trouble that is coming for them, but it's not going to be like constant and insane. Also, there's really nothing going on that side. Like, even for the gods, the ice side is just frozen and barren and not worth a whole hell of a lot. Like, they're only there because that's where they showed up.
There were probably like, before they showed up, the number of gods on the ice side you could probably count on one hand and still have fingers left over. Because, like, you have a couple of species that live there that are capable of living there. You have the giants. You have the elf outpost, and that's really it.
Yeah, well, we are going to put the Rook in there and some other things. Like, I definitely want to populate the side more, and I do have some ideas, although nothing actually, set down. These are, future things that we have to talk about. But, yeah, that's kind of it. It's like there's not much going on over on that side. So,
I think the part that's going to be problematic for them to other gods is how inclusive they are. It's how open they are to accepting new followers.
Yeah, like most of their base is going to be goblins, but they're by no means exclusive to goblins. They are not goblin gods.
No, I think as far as like their base goes, most of them are going to be goblins, kobolds, because those are the two that exist in round mountains and areas. And like those were the ones who were just kind of around the area they showed up at.
And how in the hell do we have goblins over on that side and kobolds on the ice side? I forgot how they got there to begin with.
I put down that they were exiles. They were basically exiled refugees. They were fleeing where they were from, and they went to a place where no one else was living.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. I can dig it.
And then the new dragon gods showed up before they were gods. We're like, here's some teachings to make your lives a little easier, and then left.
I thought that they found Cadwall after the NDGs had showed up and then left. They found it, and they were just kind of chilling there. And when the NDGs came back, they found them, and that was when they kind of gave them some teachings and whatnot. And then disappeared, came back, found the shrine, disappeared, came back, had some worshippers, disappeared, came back, became gods.
Yeah, basically, it was like that. They left and came back a bunch of times. They started teaching on the second route, but I don't think they were expecting to be worshipped for, this is how you make a greenhouse.
Right? I still want to actually flesh out the story of what happened when they were in the Arrowverse.
Well, like I said, for Galil, it's probably going to change it. Things are probably going to change a bit. The ones there. Because there's a lot of things we can't really, mention due to, copyright.
Oh no, I've actually it's in the elevator pitch and whatnot. Galil is a nexus of multiverses, so it is a place where anything can exist and will be found as soon as we get over any copyright troubles with it. So, have you put any more thought into our mysterious anti-magic race on the main side?
No, not really. Thought we talked the last time I remember talking about you.
Gesundheit.
Sorry. Talking about them to you was you were living here, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've talked on them at all.
I think we decided that they were going to be more technologically advanced than the magical races to make up for the fact that they ain't gotten any.
Well, yeah, they are the source of tech on the planet, aside from I don't know, bronze/Iron Age tech. Is going to be, pretty prevalent, but anything beyond that is pretty much going to be from them, with some exceptions. Like the mech, you said you've got someone else building that.
You want to hear something interesting?
What's that?
So, the Bronze Age collapse in our history, little piece of history for our history, and I'm not a specialist on this, so I might be getting it wrong, but during the Bronze Age collapse, when all of the trade routes shut down, Greece, the people who were still living in Greece, could no longer get tin from the Tin Islands to make bronze. Now, because of that, they had to go to iron, which they knew about long before they had to go to it. But they didn't go. They didn't switch over to iron while they had bronze, because compared to working in bronze, iron is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah. Exactly the same things that make it so much better than bronze make it so much worse to use than bronze.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. If you use like comparing an iron sword to a bronze sword, an iron sword, if it bends, it's likely going to snap if you try and fix that. A bronze sword, you can kind of just sit on a table, put your foot down on it, bend it back straight, and call it a day.
Yeah, but at the same time, that iron sword, if swung with enough gumption,
Mm-hmm.
could very well cleave right through that fucking bronze sword. And you're not
Yeah.
gonna put that on a table, step on it, straighten it back out, and fucking be good.
No, but the reason why they didn't want to use iron because the fires need to be a hell of a lot hotter
Yep.
than to make bronze, and it's a lot messier and dirtier and harder to form. And there were just so many reasons where like this is a novelty, but bronze is better. Until they couldn't get tin, and they're like, well, it's what we have, so why not?
Right?
So I would probably view that like I think out of your things, bronze and iron will be the more bronze will be more common, iron will be rarer, but well, given the length of time, iron will probably be around.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking. I figure. And honestly, I have to figure out that part. Like, we're not starting out with like Neanderthal or whatnot and then evolving into. No, we are starting out with full blown races. How much knowledge do we want them to have? And also, we were talking last time about when the races were created and during that process that it might just be, the god was. I actually, the more I thought about it, I dislike that idea. I am more inclined to say the races are just created and then they choose their own gods.
Okay.
I think that makes the situation a little bit more interesting and dynamic. Not really in terms of gameplay, because obviously it's not like that's going to be a part of anything that actually happens in gameplay at all. But just for the world, I think it makes for better story.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Also gives a little bit of perspective to there's no such thing as a born god in Galil. So when the NDGs do kind of start out, everybody else went through the same process or something similar. Like, obviously none of them are going to be exact match, but
yeah. Now, each god's probably going to be relatively unique in how they got there, but there's going to be similar themes.
Did we ever figure out how Kofio actually ends up getting enough?
No, I don't think we ever mentioned.
I don't think it matters, but
I can think of a couple of ways Kofio could. There's two I can think of.
Hit me.
There's the cult leader origin.
No, she doesn't care enough to actually start a cult.
And then there's the deception. There's the deceptive. I'm the face of your. I'm the new face of your god. I decided to change things up again. Sort of thing, where she like basically infiltrates and manages to convince a sizable like population of followers of a pre-existing god that she is the new face of that god.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
Little harder to set up. Does make her seem like a mastermind though, because if we go with that, which I guess she would kind of have to be. Really?
Or it was just a prank that somehow picked up steam.
Well,
It was a
Either
prank
way,
that turned into an avalanche. Because that sounds more like Kofio.
if it was a prank against a specific deity, or if it was the deception one, that means that she has a very motivated, maybe not as powerful as they once was, but somewhat powerful god that wants her head. Which I can probably say a number of gods would want her head. But they'd have to know about her first.
Yeah. And, well, there is that whole, gods are not really mortal thing. There's also that whole, out of everybody, in terms of, backstories and whatnot, not counting, faith god powers, but just, abilities and powers as a person before the godhood, I think that she's probably on the upper end of that tier, just from the history that she's had.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
also,
history...
okay, so Balefire. Are we going to allow Balefire to affect gods? Because that could also be a thing. Like, that was part of the prank, is she actually zapped a fucking god and then took it over. And so now that god is not after her head anymore because she just took it over.
I don't think so. I think, Balefire works on... my main problem with that is that a god is basically their faith. So they're kind of spread out amongst their followers.
Yeah.
And being spread out like that, don't get me wrong, Balefire will hurt them. But I don't think you could actually kill them. It would just be something no god wants to go through. Like a person, like a golem made of porcelain that was given sentience. Yeah, you might be able to smash him into tiny pieces and glue him back together, but that's not an experience he's going to want to go through ever.
Yeah. A golem made out of porcelain. You have to write that stat block now. You have to write that stat block now. That is fucking brilliant. And the funny thing is, because, porcelain breaks relatively easily, but it's a lot harder than glass.
It also can be pretty sharp.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like us joking about the cake golem. That actually came from a screenshot Let's Play, where two wizards were talking about a cake golem. It's like, why not fight it and eat it at the same time? The barbarian was like, why not fight it, eat at the same time? Saves time. And two of the wizards were like, a cake golem? That sounds like the health-conscious wizard's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
But yeah, cake golem. Funny thing with with the D&D rules, you can almost make a cake golem. There are rules for non-standard materials.
Yeah, you can make a golem out of literally anything with D&D rules, can't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes you need special things for, stuff that's not solid.
Could you make a force golem?
No. No, because force is it's for the same reason why you couldn't make a lightning golem. It's not really a material, it's a status of energy.
Okay.
But you can make an air golem. However, for non-solid golems, you need you need these special that think like runa stones that keep them together.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Kind of like a Horcrux or phylactery type of vibe with it.
Yeah, a lot of times, a lot of times that'll be embedded in the golem when it's like a solid material. But for non-solid golems, like sand golems, which are actually in the Sandstorm book, uh, they have it like embedded in their bodies.
Oh yeah, you
So
got
for
a PDF of Sandstorm, right?
I have a PDF of a lot of books. Let me take a look. Uh,
Because I think it would be helpful for us to kind of run through that book real quick. And also, I know you've got one that is, I forget what it's called, but Frost something or other that would work for Lakram.
uh, I have It's Cold Outside and It's Wet Outside. I do not have It's Hot Outside on PDF. Those are terms. Those are terms. One of the first DMs I actually played a game with told me about those books.
So that is actually Sandstorm and Frostburn and whatever the water one's
Correct.
called. Like those. That's just what you're calling them.
That's what he called them.
Okay.
There's
Well,
also,
I also
there's
wasn't
also-
sure if that was actually like a different set of books or something.
No, that's what he called them. There's also It's Spooky Outside, which is Heroes of Horror.
Yep.
The Book of Weeaboo Fighting Magic, which is Tome of Battle.
Oh, okay. I was totally thinking that one was going to be Oriental Adventures.
No, because the reason why behind that one's name is because a lot of this blade magic in the Tome of Battle lets you do anime swordsman bullshit.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it's the Book of Weeaboo Fighting Magic. Mm-hmm. But no, I don't have a PDF of Sandstorm. I have the physical book though.
Yeah, I know you do. But that's a little impractical. I can't read it here while it's there.
True enough.
I might just order a copy of it though. I got my Liber Bastarius in. I'm probably just gonna go ahead and start ordering a bunch of used 3.5 stuff and start building up a collection on that because I really liked a lot of those books and I miss having them.
Hold up one sec. I might be able to help. All right, tabletop games. How big is my tabletop games file?
Huge. I know that much.
It's 4.81 gigabytes. But you don't really need Aberrant or the Star Wars or World of Darkness books.
Aberrant I would probably use. Star Wars probably not. What's World of Darkness?
White Wolf stuff. Vampire the Masquerade setting.
Oh, yeah, probably not. I mean, we're gonna
And
have a lot of stuff from that, but it's not gonna be like a setting like that.
Aberrant is a superhero bullshit.
Oh, okay. I thought that was more like you're making aberrations and shit like that. Yeah, we don't need
no.
superhero bullshit.
Okay, so I have my files are separated. I've got Core 3.5, D20 Modern, Dragon Magazine, pre-made games, and setting books. Setting books are Dragonlance, Eberron, Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, Spelljammer, Ghostwalk. They are like pre-made settings
Yeah.
for D&D. I don't know how much we'd want to use them.
I mean, they all have good stuff in them, but I don't think any of them are strictly necessary.
No. About the only thing is a playable Minotaur race in Dragonlance. However, they're kind of disappointing. They're effectively just pirates. I'd rather just play the wild Minotaur.
Minotaur Pirates does sound interesting, but off-brand.
Yeah.
We do have Minotaurs, but I don't know if they're going to be on water side. Also, actually, I don't know when or where Minotaurs came in.
Go the original route with their backstory then. They are abomination spawns of you know the original where the original
King Midas
came from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have every Minotaur the result of that bullshit type of union. It means they have some serious baggage they have to deal with before they're kind of acceptable members of communities.
Well, I really only have one Minotaur that I actually have any plans for. Like, we can make them a race, or we can not.
Mm-hmm. So, just for my core 3.5 folder, you're looking at about 2 gigabytes.
What is the best way to send that? And also, I'm really talking more about physical books, because you know how I am with the PDFs. Like, oh, that's cool. I'm never going to open it.
I could send them on a zip. I could put them on a zip drive and send the zip drive to you, and just mail it to you.
And something else I don't know if I actually told you about, but I found really cool. There is actually a 5e compatible version of Splinterlands.
Really?
Yeah, they put out a rule book.
Huh.
I can send you a link to that if you want to take a look through it at some point. I have read most of it. It's interesting. It's really not like Splinterlands the game. It's more like Splinterlands the world and the lore. And then put into D&D. So it's like, you know, subclasses and shit like that are based on like the Zenith way and shit like that. So it's really more D&D and just Splinterlands flavor, which is cool. Because if they had tried to make it Splinterlands gameplay in D&D, I don't think that would have worked at all.
No, I don't think so either. What's invariant? Oh, E6 and Tome. Okay. Sorry, I'm looking through some of these things.
Will one of y'all in the chat tell this motherfucker to stop apologizing?
I'm just looking at numbers to see what I might be able to send you. I could email you some of the smaller books.
Oh, actually, Dropbox.
Dropbox?
Yep. Give me a sec. Actually, I will go sign up.
Yeah.
Continue with Google. Dragon Memories. Confirm. Agree and sign up. I've been meaning to set one up for Dragon Memories anyways. All right, 2 gig
looks
is...
like there already... Looks like there already is one. Because, like, I'm on Dropbox right now, and... Oh, wait, get started by downloading on your... Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
I don't want to download the app. Oh, there we go. Skip. No.
Yeah, when I was on it was like, get started by downloading the app. So, I'm gonna crack open the Sandstorm book while you're messing with that. See if there's anything interesting. Heh.
What'd you find?
I forgot that spell. This spell existed. It's called Vitrify. It transforms sand into molten glass. It's like grease, except, you know, molten glass. So not like grease at all, but it's kind of amusing.
Yeah, is it, is it like mechanically grease?
No, it's
It's a damage and trap thing, right?
reduces speed to 5 feet. Let's see. Casts in an area. Reflex save to escape the area. If you fail and cannot fly, levitate, or otherwise free yourself, sink into the glass. Speed reduced to 5.
Right.
-2 on attack. What?
Yeah, so if you just go to Dropbox.com, on the top, it will say the get started by downloading Dropbox on your computer, but you don't actually have to. You can just come down here and click on the upload part. This is the 2 gig maximum, though. So we'll have to upload some books, and then I'll download them and delete.
You said it's 2 gig?
Yeah.
All right, let's see if this works. Never mind. I'm not going to send you all of this stuff. I'm going to send you only what I need to send you. Because I am not waiting that long for all of these to...
Fair.
I'm not waiting that long for all of these to go through. All right, so what are you interested in for the core books? I don't think you need the monster manual or the player's handbook.
Actually, player handbook, no. Monster manual would probably be helpful.
Monster manual. All right, Monster Manual. Monster Manual 2. Monster Manual 3.
2 and 3, definitely. I've never even seen them.
They're not that great.
Still options. I got fucking 5,000 levels worth of shit to populate. We need options.
Lords of Madness. Frostburn. Stormrack. Oriental Adventures. Sure, why not the Draconicon? Psionics Handbook. Oh, I thought I had the Fiend Folio in here. Did I give you Libris Mortis already? No, I didn't. Alright. Alright, so that's 10 that's 10 books sent to you. They're still uploading.
Yeah, Monster Manual's done, so I'm gonna start downloading that.
My favorite book to make ridiculous bullshit characters. I'm sending to you. It's Savage Species.
So I also...
Okay.
How do you feel about, since goblins are one of our earliest races, bugbears and hobgoblins actually evolved from goblins?
Okay. I don't mind that.
And most of the world doesn't actually know about them.
Ooh.
They're kind of behind the scenes.
If they have to be, I would probably just like, yeah, bugbears and hobgoblins exist, but most people who see them are just gonna be like, wow, that's a big goblin. Okay. I'd pretty much leave it as that. They're not gonna
Okay, so
realize
you want to have them like
looking.
closer to goblins than they typically are? I don't hate that idea either.
They might look like they'll be like, that's a big and little weird looking goblin. They'll recognize it's a goblin, but they won't internalize that that's, a bugbear or hobgoblin because, they don't know.
Gotcha. So kind of like
They think,
orcs and uruks in Tolkien.
yeah. If you just look at them as face value, they look pretty similar, except one's bigger. So
But if you know, you know. But if you don't,
if you know what you're looking, if you know what you're looking at, yeah, you know. All right. You know what my favorite animal out of the sandstorm book is?
What's that?
The dire vulture.
Dire vulture. Yeah, that sounds pretty intimidating. How big is it? Like it's fucking 6 foot wingspan?
It's only large.
Oh,
I mean,
so like a 10 foot
only
wingspan.
large. That puts it at like size of a horse. 8 to 12 feet long and has a wingspan of 20 feet.
20 foot wingspan. Jesus Christ. Way to be totally off the fucking mark, Rick. Holy fuck.
You'd be surprised at how big of a wingspan you need for something like that to get flight. 20
Oh yeah, no,
sounds
I know.
reasonable.
That's why like my guess of 6 foot, and then you said, well, it's large. I was like, oh, okay, no, it's definitely not a 6 foot wingspan on a large. Like 6 foot wingspan on a medium would actually be insufficient. It'd have to be a small medium, like a dwarf-sized medium.
In all honesty, though, dire vulture is not particularly threatening.
So why is it your favorite?
I like the design. I just like the artwork that goes with the design. It's like it's a vulture and it has the spiny bits that dire creatures tend to have. It's got a decent fly speed for a 6-hit die creature. Wouldn't be a bad creature. It wouldn't be a bad creature to wild shape into.
Yeah.
The sand dragon looks pretty cool too, but I like the vulture better.
All right, I now have the client set up on my computer.
Okay.
Next.
Oh, cool. They're almost all uploaded. There are 2 left.
Dope sauce.
I mean, there are more books I could send you, but I sent you the books I think are the most important if you're not making a character. If you're making character, there are some other ones that are nice, but if you're looking for like monsters and world building things, these are better. In my opinion. I suppose I could actually send you a Tome of Battle as well, now that I think about it. Yeah. Okay. They're update. It's loading up. Says I have about 2 minutes left before they're all loaded up.
There we go. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the were crocodile.
All right, Monster Manual 1 is done. Lords of Madness, done.
And now that they're in Dropbox, you can download them at any time, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now is downloading them. And then I can delete them to save room in here.
Okay. All right, Magic of Incarnum just finished. The only one left is Tome of Battle, which is not that important for world building, but it does have some interesting world building things in it for its own little like world point. Like the hobgoblins are responsible for blade magic in that book.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Did you want me to send you Sandstorm?
Uh, sure. I thought you don't have it.
I don't, but I can mail you the book.
Um, I mean, you don't have to, but I would definitely appreciate the opportunity to go through it.
Let me take a look.
I had forgotten about your magnificent folders, to be honest. You got fucking the entire history of D&D. So what do you got from not 3-5?
What? 2 books. And I have G20 Modern, which is...
It's still 3-5. It's just a different setting.
Character rules are a little different, and they add a couple things, but yeah, basically they use the same mechanics. So I have the, I believe this is 2nd edition. Player's Handbook and Dungeon Master's Guide. Holy. Huh.
All right, downloaded and cleared. We have nothing in the Dropbox now.
Okay, I am looking to see if I can find a Sandstorm PDF that's safe to download.
Just make sure. Galil here. 3.5. Okay. Tome of Battle, yes. Stormrack, yes. Savage Species, yes. Oriental Adventures, MM3, MM2, Magic of Incarnum. Lords of Madness, Olympus Mortis, Heroes of Horror, Frostburn, Psionics, Draconomicon, Monster Manual 1. Alright, yep, got them all. It's crazy how small Oriental Adventures, Savage Species, Stormrack are compared to Tome of Battle. Monster Manual 3 is fucking 60 megs. And Savage Species is 5.
Let's see. Savage Species. Yep. Yep. And then what did you say the other one was?
MM3 is fucking 59,279. That's just an insane difference there.
236 pages. Higher image quality, maybe? Could be higher image quality. Although on these, I don't think the image quality really matters all that much. Anyways, I'm looking at D20 Modern and seeing if there's anything I want to send you. Because I don't think there really is anything in that file I want to send you. D20 Future doesn't help you much unless you want to do like spaceships and cyborgs and robots.
Eventually, yeah, but not necessary right now.
D20 Past will give you... D20 Past actually might be interesting.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one.
Because that'll give you rules for, like, flintlock weapons and whatnot.
Ooh.
I think that's what that I think that has rules on flintlock. Down, what do we got? Okay. Age of Adventure. Pulp Heroes. On page 19. I want to make sure this is worth sending you. Weapons. Yeah. Wheel lock horse pistol, wheel lock belt pistol, matchlock, musket, cannons. Might be useful for just that. Do we have monsters in here?
What the fuck?
What? What's up?
Changelings in MM3. How the hell did they get put off until the 3rd Monster Manual?
They were probably in 3.0 at some point.
Probably.
And so they were just put into the 3rd Monster Manual to update them for the new rules. If you look at, I think, the 2nd or 3rd Monster Manual, you'll see the Taric template that I use to make abominations sometimes. But you know what they never updated, which is the reason why I sent you Savage Species? The Feral template.
Really? That's never been updated?
Nope, it's still in Savage Species. +1 level adjustment for so much power.
So much.
So much.
So much.
Even I know that's that template is bullshit, but it's so great.
Hey, what's good, DJ Beg, man? Welcome, welcome. How are you doing tonight, my friend? It's not in number 3, although this Swamp Strider swarm is looking pretty cool, and I feel like that's probably going to make an appearance in Dushonit.
All right, I'm going to send you D20 Past. All right, I'm sending you D20 past.
Heard. What's the bagman's lore say? I don't know anything about the bagman's lore, bagman. That would be for the bagman to bag up and deliver.
Hey, Rick.
Yo.
Do you want Dragon magazines?
Sure.
I have a couple of Dragon magazines on PDFs for varying different reasons. Some of them are only like 3 pages. Others are the full magazine. Looking at them, most of them aren't helpful, except for maybe Dragon Magazine 318, because it has a roster of dinosaurs.
I don't think dinosaurs actually ever existed on Galil.
Okay. I got it because I wanted an improved roster of dinosaurs I was looking for. I don't think I have too much left to grab you out of this set. I mean, I have a lot of stuff I could send you still.
Yeah. I mean, anything that you think would be helpful, I mean, since we have this and it's fairly simple, you can just put whatever the hell you want in there. I'll download it all, take looks at it, use what I can. If there's anything specific you want to point me to, then yeah, I'll definitely take a look at that. Ooh, Planescape, yes. Yes. We like that one.
How big was that one? Because that one seemed like it finished really quickly.
1,250K.
Really damn tiny.
Really damn tiny.
Oh, it's okay. This isn't a. This is not a. This is a. Someone made this. That wasn't WotC. Got it.
Oh, okay.
Still not bad. I think I have an actual book for planes. Yep, planer handbook. I'll send that one too.
Yes, because we will definitely be fucking with the planes, at least tangentially. I don't know if we're actually going to, at any point, going to be sending players off-world, but there will definitely be things coming on-world.
All right, I'm sending you two more. Three more. One of which is a book I've never even opened.
Ha! That's funny.
Never really saw a need to open Dungeonscape.
Players will be sprinting off-world. Well, I mean, it will technically be possible since there actually is an edge of the world to sprint off. But I don't know how well it's going to work for them.
How big are these ones I just sent you? Okay. Okay, planar handbook just dropped.
Down road. D.
The next one's a book of dubious utility, but we were talking about them earlier.
What's that?
You'll see.
Okay, gotcha.
When it drops. It's a book I've read parts of, but haven't really done much with. Isn't this riveting?
Right. So what kind of stuff would you expect to find in like the Great Plains in a D&D setting?
The Great Plains?
Yeah. Oh yes, D&D. Love it.
Dubious utility, I think, but I'm not sure how much is going to help, but we were talking about them.
Yeah. And in all honesty, the second edition Deities and Demigods is probably my favorite book in all of D&D.
Mm-hmm. One last one should be dropping in like 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Dungeonscape.
I have never even opened that book.
The immovable rod is world ending.
So what would I expect on the Great Plains? Any society that lives in a place that's mostly like the Great Plains is going to rely very heavily on cavalry if they have them.
No, I'm talking more about like random encounters, particularly very low level random encounters. Great Plains and rolling hills.
Hmm. You're probably looking at things like coyotes and foxes as far as animals go. For non-animals, creatures that can burrow. Like I think, what's the challenge rating of an onkeg? Yeah, something like an onkeg. Because there's very little, space to be like, surprise, I'm here. Like you'd have in like a forest or a mountainscape. Rolling hills doesn't give you a lot of surprise factor, so you'd have a lot of your threats would mostly come from like small carnivore animals, dire foxes, dire coyotes, regular coyotes, if they're hungry enough. Maybe a wolf or two. As far as D&D animal monsters go, Ankeg is only CR3. I would feel okay throwing that against a low level party. It's not particularly dangerous, and it's a burrowing animal, so a creature, so it can do the surprise things. A lot of creatures are going to want to do surprise attacks. If you're talking realism, if you're not talking realism, you can throw whatever at the party at in any place. And just be like, that's random encounters, deal with it. But realistically, in like rolling grasslands, you're going to be looking at either small flying creatures, medium flying creatures, or small and medium burrowing creatures. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah, just trying to kind of wrap my head around the change from desert to plains for the early days before the changeover happens.
Well, the funny thing about that, what you encounter doesn't change all that much. It would still be mostly burrowing or flying creatures, and the occasional desert coyote or desert fox. As far as like animals and what goes.
Yeah, I had starting out with like snakes and scorpions and shit, and then yeah, we can go like foxes on keg. What would the fox's motivation for an attack actually be, though? Like, that's the thing I don't like about putting regular animals there.
I don't think it would be a regular fox. I'd probably make it something along the lines of like a dire fox. Although I don't want to use that term because D&D.
I'm fairly certain that dire is not actually protected IP because
no, it's not. But I'd like to use something else.
Yeah.
Like maybe primal fox.
What about Star Fox?
I'm thankful that it's one game I've never played.
You've never played Star Fox? Oh my god, bro. That's easily actually one of the best games on Super Nintendo. That was such a good game.
I suck at beating Space Invaders. I doubt I do much better on Star Fox.
Honestly, I'm also pretty terrible with Space Invaders, and I have beaten Star Fox. I'm not saying it was easy, it damn sure was not. It was a hell of a challenge, but much more fun. I didn't care for Space Invaders or Asteroid. I was terrible at both of those, but...
Yeah. A lot of those games were meant to be... They were meant to control terrible and be very, very difficult. And just not look at it first.
Yeah, pretty much. To get that first quarter in, you gotta look easy. To get the millionth quarter in, you gotta be really fucking hard.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, I mean, games definitely changed when they came out of arcades and onto home consoles, because the entire purpose of the game and how the game is going to make the company money was completely upended. And hey, no complaints, because Worked
Well,
out pretty well.
well, take Pac-Man for example. The original Pac-Man, uh, you can only play 255 maps. After 255 maps, the 256th map is glitched. You can't beat it. Because half the screen is glitched out, so you can't get over there to get any pellets.
Which makes sense because, limits of the technology, limits of the memory.
Donkey Kong changes the timer based off of how many screens you've cleared, and if you clear enough of them, the screen the timer only gives you 3 seconds to beat the stage with.
Wow.
Which is its kill screen. That's what they ended up being called, kill screens. The something that stops you from actually winning forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I never got that deep into any of the super old school games to really. I'm not very good at Pac-Man. I mean, I could play it and enjoy it. I could clear a few levels, but I'm not going to be fucking challenging anybody or anything like that. And original Donkey Kong, I don't think I've ever actually played.
Yeah, neither have I, but I know this stuff from a guy I've been watching who's been keeping tabs and doing videos on the Billy Mitchell scandal bullshit.
Okay, let's talk about more things I've never fucking heard of before. What the hell are you talking about?
Billy Mitchell, he was a professional gamer, effectively, back in the day. But like he was so buddy with the people who were doing the rules and whatnot, it turned out he's basically cheated a lot of his runs.
Oh, okay.
And he's very Sue happy. He also lives in Florida and has a bar. He has a restaurant thing he owns in Florida, and he's extremely Sue happy. He's also an asshole.
All right, so let's not mention the name of his establishment, and let's just go ahead and pepper in and allegedly, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, currently he's going through court things right now, but it's not looking good for him.
So what kind of games were they playing? What what kind of alleged cheats were involved? How did that work?
His main one was Donkey Kong, and it had to do with playing on an emulator. Playing on original hardware basically was the big point.
Oh, so we're talking about like doing tournaments on old school games and shit, but like now?
No, this was back in like the 90s.
Okay, when the shit was new. Gotcha.
Yeah. This was back when like the things were fairly new that these cheats happened.
Alleged cheats. Okay.
Mm-hmm. But
was he ever like actually caught red-handed or anything like that, or is that for the courts to decide?
Basically he has at this point, but the court case is still going on. I haven't heard anything past that. The most recent thing is a picture of him with the arcade cabinet, and the joystick on the arcade cabinet is not an original Donkey Kong joystick, which means it doesn't matter what sort of allegations he has. He did not play on original hardware, so he should be losing the court case.
Okay.
Because
makes sense. I mean, I never really think about hardware down to that level of detail, but something as simple as a joystick could definitely make a hell of a difference in a speed run or something like that. So I could
Oh yeah.
see where that's coming from.
Well, in an original Donkey Kong cabinet, the joystick is a four-way joystick. It only goes up, down, left, right. The joystick on his appeared to be an eight-way joystick, which allowed him to do the diagonals, which you can't do on a normal cabinet.
Okay.
Which is an unfair advantage competitive wise
Yeah,
to the speedrunning team of the time.
that's a huge advantage. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, his records have all been effectively stripped, even by Guinness Book of World Records, who had them in his book for quite a while. And he's currently doing a court case against the people who got him his records stripped. I think it's in California, though.
Oh, so he's suing them, not like he is actually in court, like under charges against him or anything. He's actually pressing the charges.
Oh no, he's the one who presses all the charges. Nobody sues him. He sues them for defamation of character.
Ah, gotcha.
He sued Cartoon Network because they made a parody of him.
Swell guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Billy Mitchell, I mean, you can go on Wikipedia and online and read all of this stuff, but the guy I've been watching, he keeps up on that sort of stuff. He also was sued, had a lawsuit go through with against Billy Mitchell. The funny thing is, Billy Mitchell has to contact. He doesn't use. Yep, there he is. There are the videos too. Yeah.
Including a perfect score on Pac-Man. Wow.
Yep. However, the thing is, he was buddies with like I think 2 or 3 of the referees for Twin Galaxies.
Okay.
Which helped him allegedly cheat.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
3,333,360 points. That's a lot of Pac-Manin.
Yep. Yep.
In 2018... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
In 2018, Mitchell's high scores were contested after the members of the Twin Galaxies forums found discrepancies in the videos Mitchell had provided for the King of Kong, suggesting he had used emulation software to falsify his score. Following a months-long investigation, Twin Galaxies concluded that some of Mitchell's high scores were not performed on original hardware as required by their rules, and invalidated all of his scores due to their zero-tolerance policy for dishonesty. Guinness likewise stripped Mitchell of his records following legal threats against Twin Galaxies, and Guinness reinstated Mitchell's records. Twin Galaxies, however, did not reverse its disqualifications, leading Mitchell to the defamation lawsuits against Twin Galaxies and others in 2020.
And they're still going on.
Okay. Andy sells Ricky's world-famous hot sauce. Okay. Interesting.
Well, I guess he owns the Ricky's restaurants. I've never been to one. I don't even know where one is.
Yeah, me either. Well, it says Hollywood, Florida, and Pembroke Pines, Florida. Which are both quite a ways away. They're in Broward County, so yeah, they're basically right down at the tip.
Okay, so they're in the tourism resort areas.
They're in the wannabe Miami areas. I mean, Orlando's really the tourist area. Miami as well, Fort Lauderdale also, but like, yeah, that's Hollywood, Florida is.
There it is,
I wish we were actually Miami.
right above the thing that says disputed records.
Oh, yep, here we go.
Nope, down a little. The bolded text that said disputed records.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. We're just on a delay, so you're
right?
looking at things like 10 seconds after I do or whatnot.
Okay. The paragraph right above it.
In 2015, Mitchell filed a lawsuit against Cartoon Network saying that in the regular show, a character who cheats at video games called Garrett Bobby Ferguson infringed on his likeness. Threw out the lawsuit saying that the television character does not match the plaintiff in appearance.
Still find it stupid. He took Cartoon Network to court.
I find that tie kind of stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're wearing all black and a fucking American flag tie.
Yeah. Oh no, at least he seems. I'll say this: he seems to be doing well for himself compared to some of the other people who have been alleged of cheating of his time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, owning a pair of relatively successful restaurants might do that to you.
Yeah, it said his family owns them, so I don't know if it's like a multiple party thing or if it's tax evasion or tax shelter type of thing. And I kind of wonder how involved he personally is in those.
I'm not sure. Still, he's probably better at those games that he allegedly cheated on than I am, so I can't really say too much about that.
Yeah, he's definitely better than I am. I mean, I don't think I could get 3,333,360 points on Pac-Man even with God mode enabled because I would not be interested in playing long enough to get there.
Oh yeah, it takes hours and hours.
And I mean, I'm not saying I can't game for hours and hours, but I'm not into Pac-Man for hours and hours.
Nah, I think from what I understand of Pac-Man, I mean, it just gets repetitive.
Yeah,
you're doing
exactly.
the same key commands over and over and over again. It's just a pattern.
Exactly. Like, I did a stream where I played OG Diablo, or Diablo Hellfire, all the way through. From character creation to Diablo's death. And it took 12 and a half hours, like 10 and a half hours of gameplay. I have no interest in doing that for fucking Pac-Man. Like, I loved OG Diablo. Pac-Man's alright. I mean,
yeah.
I'm very glad that Pac-Man exists. And I love what Pac-Man did for gaming. But as far as the game itself, it's kind of meh.
Yeah. Agreed.
It's cool. I could play it once or twice and, see if I can, get it, get in further than I have. But yeah, as far as like hours and hours, no thanks.
Yeah.
That's never been my game.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm probably gonna head to bed because since I have to go buy some stuff for my shower tomorrow.
Alrighty, bud. Thank you for hanging, and super stoked for all of the stuff that we're getting working, setting in motion. Tomorrow, I do have my off the cuff, and my call with my daughter. But aside from that, I'm gonna be plugging away as much as possible, and
Okay.
try and get some shit really fucking hammered down.
No problem. Thanks for listening to my rambling that may or may not be a part of anything we've been doing.
I love it. I'm so glad to get to talk to you more often. Anyways, even if it's not about Galil or Dragon Memories, just having a chance to touch base a little bit more is awesome. And now I've definitely got some fucking shit to fucking slog through for reading. Because
Yeah.
goddamn, that's a lot of
I
people.
like my PDFs. They let me have all the info I wanted in a much more concise space, but I have to say there is something about holding the actual book.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely makes a big difference. I don't think I've ever actually read through a PDF. Like the PDFs are great for pulling up the information that you already know and just need to reference. But for reading, yeah, they're definitely not super great. Um,
Oh yeah, I don't actually read any of my PDFs. I skim through to look for things that are interesting. And I might stop and take a look and read something that might look interesting, but for the most part, I just skim through them, and then I use them for reference when I'm later looking for stuff.
yeah, I'm probably gonna make an attempt to actually read through them fairly comprehensively. I mean, I'll be skipping a lot of stuff, but I mean, you know how I am crazy enough to actually like to read D&D books from cover to cover. So
Yeah. Well, you're also not really looking for like rules on things. You're looking for lore information. So there's a
yeah,
lot of
lore
stuff you
and
can just
also, I mean,
yeah.
the stat blocks are very helpful, even though we're not going to be using the same system. I know the system well enough that it makes it a lot easier to really implement.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that I'm still really working on figuring out is the exact mechanics and whatnot. And so, I mean, tomorrow night is Technical Thursdays, and you are more than welcome to join that anytime you want to as well. That's when we have some of the other team members on, typically. I thought that Kevin was going to be joining us tonight. He said he was, but he said that he would join us in like half an hour at like 12 o'clock, and it's now 5 to 2. So, but yeah, I'm really stoked with the amount of information that we have now, and yeah, it's kind of a little bit disheartening to be restarting for Kamidora because we are changing up a bit for the early days, but I feel like things are going to be a lot better overall because of it, and it's gonna
Yeah.
work out a lot better. So it's
Make
really
the
just
story
hammered
more
out.
concise. To make the story more concise.
Yeah, exactly, and also to be able to make some of the things happen that I'm really keen to later on. I kind of needed to really have it be actual grasslands and whatnot for a longer period of time, and that was actually that's where the idea for the agricultural race came from. I wasn't like, oh, I should make the agricultural race and then change things around. It's like, okay, no, I need to change things around, but that actually gives us the opportunity. We can put that in there. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, I will talk to you later.
Yes, sir. You have a great night, and it is 2 o'clock now, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and hop on into the stream myself and go ahead and drop this little note in the Splinterlands TV there. And we're going to go ahead and raid on over. So thank y'all so very much for hanging. As always, I've been Rick. You've been on the mountain, and it has been a wonderful time. And I'm saying all of that far too early because we don't even have the chat loaded up to launch the raid yet. But, you know, it's all good anyways.
Thank you for listening to my rambling, everybody, and all have a nice night.
It's all good anyways. Yay, echoes. And now we start going infinite. Fantastic. Let's see how many copies we're going to get in before we actually get the raid launched. We got 3. We got 4. We gonna get a 5th? Nope, here we go. Thank y'all and have a great night. Keep kicking ass, because you're fucking awesome. Alrighty.